I need to be honest. I used to completely avoid looking at my bank account because I was so scared to see how much money I had, or really how much money I did not have left every month. I would get to the end of the month, feel completely confused about where all my money went, tell myself I'd figure it out next month, and then just do the exact same thing all over again. And if that sounds familiar at all, this is for you. Because today I'm sharing 5 things that actually changed the way I personally manage my money. And let me be clear, these are real things I did. They were practical changes that made me feel like I was finally in control of my money for the very first time. We've got 2 mindset-based tips and 3 action-based ones. So whether you're someone who needs to fix your thinking around money first, or you're already in the right headspace and you just want to know what to actually do, there's something here for you too. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Allison Baggerly, and I help women build realistic money habits so that they can pay off debt, save money, and feel calmer about their finances without shame or extremes. Let's get into it. All right, tip number 1, and I really want you to hear this one: stop treating money as a source of shame. Because here's the thing, most of us don't avoid managing our money because we're bad at math. We avoid it because it feels bad. We open our banking app and immediately feel guilty, stressed, or just embarrassed. And so we close the app and we don't look, and the cycle continues. I did this for years. I would get a paycheck, spend it, not really track where my money was going, feel vaguely anxious about money all month long, and then be shocked at the end of the month. And a huge part of that was that money felt like this big, heavy thing that said something about who I was as a person. Like if my bank account was a mess, I was a mess. But here's the reframe I want you to try. Money is a neutral tool. It's not a report card. It's not a reflection on your worth, your intelligence, or whether you're a good person. It's just a resource. And like any resource, you can learn to manage it better. And you might be surprised that the first step is not budgeting. It's not automating your savings. It's just looking at your money without judgment. It's saying, okay, this is where I'm at. That's it. This awareness brings freedom, and it just helps you figure out what your next best step should be. And if you grew up in a house where money was stressful or was never talked about, or the cause of a lot of arguments, that stuff sticks with you. It's worth acknowledging that your past money story might be impacting the way you feel and respond to your own money right now in the present. So the takeaway here for tip number 1 is this: awareness always comes before action. You cannot fix what you don't face, and you don't need to have it all together to start. You just need to be willing to look at your money. Tip number 2 is another mindset one, and honestly, this one completely changed how I personally think about saving money. It's called the pay yourself first philosophy. And it sounds simple, but it has a major impact on your money. So most people, and I was absolutely this person, save whatever is left at the end of the month. You pay your rent, your bills, your groceries, you go out a couple of times, maybe you treat yourself a little, you buy stuff online, and then whatever's left, if anything, goes into savings. If I'm completely honest with you, I was very skilled at spending all of my money and only having a few dollars left. I knew exactly what I could spend every single month and basically not go negative or overdraft my account, which meant I never saved money. As you can probably see, the problem with approaching saving money this way is that I can pretty much guarantee you that there's almost never anything left. Life just fills up the space that money leaves. It just does. So the mindset change, and honestly, we can even turn this into an action tip here, is this: you treat your savings like a bill. Saving money for your future is the first thing that gets paid, not the last. The moment your paycheck lands in your checking account, a portion needs to go to you, your future, before anything else has a say. And I think the reason why this is a mindset tip and not only a practical tip is because it requires you to genuinely believe that you are a priority in your own financial future, that your goals matter, that your future self deserves to be taken care of. And for a lot of us, that's actually a bigger hurdle than the logistics of setting it up. The amount that you pay yourself first doesn't matter at first. Seriously, even if it's just $20 a paycheck, the habit and the belief are what you're building. The numbers can come later. I'm going to come back to this in tip 4 when we talk about automation, because these two really go well together. But the takeaway for tip 2 is this: if you wait to save what's left, you're always going to be waiting. Pay yourself first every single time. Okay, we're into the action tips now, and tip number 3 is probably one of my favorites because it sounds so basic, but people genuinely aren't doing it consistently. And it's this: you need to actually look at your money regularly. This tip has 3 parts. The first part is tracking your spending. I know you've heard me and probably everyone else talk about this before, but hear me out. Because the goal of tracking where your money is going is not to be perfect. It is to be aware. Most people, when they first tracking their spending, they are genuinely surprised at where their money is actually going. And this was me. I had no idea how much I was actually spending on takeout and shopping. And I've seen the same pattern with hundreds of people that I've worked with. The truth is that spending here and there can add up to a lot of money. And when you're tracking your spending, you see those patterns right in front of you. You cannot ignore what you're seeing. You are no longer blind to your own actions. Now, use whatever method works for you. There are apps. I use a spreadsheet. You can even use pen and paper. The best system for tracking your spending is the one that you'll actually use. If tracking all of your spending feels like too much work, then I highly recommend you try tracking the categories where you know deep down you might be overspending. Things like takeout, online shopping, and groceries. You'll be surprised that you might think you're spending $1,000 each month on groceries, but after you track everything you're buying at the grocery store, you're actually spending way more than that. Even just doing this for 1 month will give you an enormous amount of clarity. Once you're tracking your spending, the second part of looking at your money is a weekly money check-in. Once you're tracking, set aside just 10 to 15 minutes once a week to quickly, just very briefly, look over your spending. Think of it like checking the weather, not doing your taxes. You're just scanning. What did I spend this week? Am I on track? And is anything surprising? The beauty of doing this weekly is that you catch small problems before they become big ones. If you only check on your spending and you look over everything once a month, by the time you notice something is off, it's just too late to adjust. The third part is a monthly money date. Once a month, you do a bigger review of your money. I like to call it a money date, and yes, it definitely counts if you do it with a glass of wine and a spreadsheet. This is your 30-minute zoom out session. I want you to look at your spending. Did your spending match your intentions this month? Did you hit your savings goal? What would you do differently next month? If you have a partner, it's best if you do this together. Put it in your calendar, make it a ritual so that way it doesn't become a chore. And all of this comes back to one word: intentionality. Being intentional with your money means telling it where to go before the month starts, not wondering where it went at the end. There's a budgeting concept called zero-based budgeting where every dollar has a job. I know that this is exactly what I do and I have for years, but you might not want to do a full zero-based budget, and that's totally fine. But the idea that every dollar is working towards something you actually care about, that's the goal here. There's a real difference between a budget that feels like it's punishing you and a money plan that feels empowering. The difference is intention. The takeaway for tip number 3 is that looking at your money often, even just a few minutes, removes the fear and puts you back in control. Tip number 4 is probably the most satisfying one to actually set up because once you do it, it runs itself. And that is entirely the point. Tip number 4 is to automate your savings and bills. Here's the thing about willpower. It is a limited resource. If every month you are relying on yourself, your willpower to remember to transfer money into savings, to make that debt payment, to not spend all of your money before you move it, you're going to miss sometimes. Life gets busy. It gets draining. One missed month can easily turn into 2. So instead of relying on motivation, memory, and willpower, you remove your yourself from the equation entirely. You set up automatic transfers that go out the day after your paycheck lands. So that way the money moves before you even see it, before you have a chance to spend it on something else. You can automate everything that you possibly can. What should you automate? Well, everything you possibly can. Savings contributions, investments, bill payments, debt payments. The goal is that your financial administration tasks happen automatically in the background while you're just there living your life. I know some people get nervous about this, like, what if I don't have enough money in my bank account? And honestly, that's a very fair and valid concern. But that's exactly why tip 3 matters. When you know your numbers and you're tracking your spending, you'll know exactly what you can automate and what buffer you need to keep in your account, how much extra money you need to keep in your account. Your bank's scheduled transfers make this really easy to set up. And if your employer lets you to split your direct deposit across multiple accounts, that's even better. Your savings never has to touch your spending account. The takeaway is this: automation turns good intentions into guaranteed results. Make the effortless choice for yourself and your future. And tip 5, this one is kind of fun in a slightly horrifying way. It's to audit your subscriptions and recurring charges. We are living in the golden age of subscription everything. Streaming services, music apps, fitness apps, software, gym membership, meal kits, free trials that you meant to cancel 3 months ago. It all adds up faster than you think. I've heard of people freeing up over $200 a month just from this one exercise. $200 that was leaving their account every single month for things they had completely forgotten they were paying for. So here's how to do it. Pull up your last 2 or 3 bank statements and your credit card statements. Go through every single line and highlight every recurring charge. Then for each one, ask yourself 3 questions. Do I use this? Do I love this? Does it actually serve my goals right now? If the answer to any of these is no, cancel it. If you're on the fence, cancel it and see if you'll miss it. You can always resubscribe. And beyond canceling, for bigger things like insurance, your internet plan, or your phone bill, it is always worth calling to renegotiate your price. Companies will often give you a better rate if you just ask, especially if you mention that you're thinking about switching providers. The worst they can say here is no. 1 hour of this audit can genuinely feel like giving yourself a pay raise. And once you've done it the first time, build it into your quarterly money date so that way subscription creep doesn't sneak back in. The takeaway here is that small expenses really add up and can wreak havoc on your money. One spending audit, one subscription audit can free up real money for you, money that you can redirect towards what actually matters to you. So there you have it, 5 money habits that genuinely change the way you manage your finances. And these are 5 habits that had a major impact on me personally. 2 mindset shifts to just lay the foundation. Stop treating money as a source of shame and start paying yourself first. And then 3 actions to build the habit on top of that. Look at your money often, automate the boring stuff, and audit your monthly or yearly subscriptions. None of these habits, none of these things are hard to do. They just require that you show up for yourself, which honestly can be the hardest part of this, but it's also the most important part. I'd love to see which of these 5 tips resonated with you. Send me a message, leave a comment, or share this with a friend who needs to hear it. If you enjoyed this video, then you're going to love my one all about how to save $10,000 this year. You can watch it right here.